I know I've got boring socks on today. So, welcome to Chair Yoga. So, for those at home or new people, remember to only do movements that feel good. So, I can't see you on the Facebook feed, so I can't give you feedback on what you're doing. So, if something doesn't feel good, please don't do it. If you've had some surgery or you have a different range of motion, then keep it all a little bit smaller and just keep yourself safe. We will start by sitting up nice and tall. So feet flat on the floor if they get there. Lengthen through the spine, draw the ribs in a little bit. And let the top of the head reach towards the ceiling. So relax the shoulders. Now we'll try and keep that long spine, but let's rest against the back of the chair. And then you can tuck the chin, close the eyes if you're comfortable with your eyes closed. And we'll just settle down. Bringing our attention into the room and then to ourselves. Let's just focus on some breathing. So you can keep your hands on your thighs, or if it helps you, you can bring them to your belly, your choice. I want you to, without really changing your breath, just pay attention to the movement of your front body. So as you breathe in, you might feel your belly expand or your chest lift. And as you breathe out, you might feel everything relaxing. So we're not trying to force that movement, we're just noticing it. And for some reason, you may not feel that movement. Just focusing on those front ribs opening and expanding, and then relaxing. 2 more times. And then we'll stay in this position, but we'll think more about the back ribs. So you can probably feel them against the chair. So as you continue to take that easy breathing, just maybe notice the back ribs. And there may be a slight tension that you feel. As the ribs are trying to expand, they can't really because we're against the chair. But think of those back ribs pushing back into the chair. Let's do 2 more breaths like that, thinking about the back of the body. And then let's bring the hands to the side ribs. So somewhere above the waist, just keeping the shoulders relaxed, but just touching the side ribs. And think about those ribs expanding out to the side. Again, you don't have to force the movement. We've just got our hands here to bring our attention to that area. And then release the hands back down. And then think about breathing in all those directions, front, back, and side. There's this little balloon inside that it's expanding the rib cage as you breathe in. And then everything relaxes as you breathe out. And as we're taking those breaths without forcing it and making it a bigger breath, try to keep it smooth and even. So breathing in and then without a break at the top, slowly breathing out. So it's nice, smooth, and circular. And there'll be some times during our class that we can try to move with our breath. And then there might be some times where we just need to keep breathing and not worry about coordinating that with our movement. Let's take 1 more breath like that, focusing on all that expansion. And you can open your eyes slowly. And next time you breathe in, we'll lift the chin, so lengthening through the throat. So think of the chin reaching up and forward a little bit and not so much throwing the head back and scrunching the back of the neck. We don't want to do that. And as you exhale, lower the chin, let the back of the neck lengthen. You might even feel a little stretch down the upper back, lifting the chin as you breathe in and lowering as you breathe out. We'll do 2 more like that. Trying to keep your shoulders relaxed and out of this. The shoulders are not playing a part here. And then after the next one, we'll end up back in the center. And again, keeping the shoulders relaxed and the chest facing the front. We'll just slowly turn the head towards the right. Just notice how far you can go before you feel that little resistance. And then inhale through the center and we'll exhale towards the left. And again, notice where you feel that tension. And it might be different on each side. So we'll try to move smoothly from side to side. And you can probably turn more to one side than the other. We'll go once more to the left and then we'll meet back in the center. And then let's drop the chin and make some circles with the head. So again, not too big. We don't want to throw the head back, but nice and slowly and relaxing. Let's do 3 circles in this direction. And then you're probably not surprised to hear that we're going to do 3 circles in the opposite direction. And again, maybe noticing which pieces feel a little sticky, which feels a little less mobile, what little sounds you can hear. And then come back to the center and let's move the shoulders up towards the ears. And then let them relax down. Shrugging up. And then relax. We'll do that a couple more times. And then we'll make very small circles with our shoulders, forward and up and around. Do 4-ish. And then we'll do about the same number going the opposite way, so drawing them back and then forward. So really focusing on those shoulders moving up and around. And then we'll make that a little bit bigger so you can relax the hands off your legs and let that shoulder roll be a bit bigger going forward and up and around. This is where I hear a lot of little clicks and bits of strange sounds coming from my neck, and then we'll switch directions. And then let's just do one arm at a time. So relax that right arm down by the side. And we're going to try and keep the chest facing the front. So we're not going to turn our body to make a big circle. We're just moving the arm up and as far behind you as you can. And then bring it down. So we'll do that a couple of times. So you might need to bend your elbow. Your circle might be very small. Let's do 3, and then we'll switch directions. So we'll go back. So that arm rotates in the socket. And once more. Oh, just let it hang heavy. And let it hang heavy, and then let that left ear come to the left shoulder. And maybe you feel a nice stretch down this side. And it might help to actually, it would help if someone else did it, but maybe give that area a little rub, a little massage. Wow. And then relax everything back to the center. Let the head drop for a moment. And then we'll lift the head and we'll try the other arm. So left arm is down, reaching forward and up and around. Keeping it slow. keeping that elbow bent if you need to, and keeping that chest facing the front. So the movement is only coming from that shoulder rotation and then going the opposite direction. So we're just trying to isolate this movement. I've lost count now. Let's do one more. And let that arm hang nice and heavy, and we'll let the right ear drop towards the right shoulder. And again, you might feel rubbing or moving this area around here would help. And then bring the hand to the thigh, let the head drop. Let's lengthen, and we'll take a little bit of spine movement here, and then we'll come back to our hands. So we'll lift the chest and the chin, draw the shoulder blades a little bit together, and then come through the center so you're back to that good posture we started with, and then round the spine and fold forward. And we'll do that a couple of times. Through the center, inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest. You can draw the elbows a little bit back. And then come the opposite way, rounding the spine and folding forward. 2 more like that. So just a little gentle cat-cow. Lift the chin and chest. And then rounding forward. Let's just pause here in this child's pose. So hands can be on the knees or forearms can come to the thighs. So this is a good resting pose if there's a point in class where you don't want to do what we're doing, or you're feeling tired and you need to take a few breaths. And then let's slowly lengthen. So sitting up tall, still keeping the chest facing the front. Let's take a side bend, reaching up and over. So we're just reaching down for that water bottle, then come up through the center and over to the other side. So letting that spine take that sideways movement this time. And as you take that movement, keep that opposite side of the pelvis heavy on your chair. And then let's add to that. So as you take that side bend to the right, if it feels okay for you, you can lift that left arm up, reach through the fingertips, and then lower it down. Up and over to the left, try reaching that right arm. And reaching that arm, you might get more of a stretch through the rib cage. So if you can't lift your arm, you can maybe lift it a little bit or bring it at least to your head level. And bring it down and up to the left. We'll do that once more to each side. And up and over to the left. We'll come back to the center. Let's come to our I Dream of Jeannie arms, just to get our arms out of the way. So we're going to do a little twist. So instead of holding elbow to elbow, maybe slide the hands a little bit further apart so we can widen across the collarbone there. So our shoulder blades are just sitting nicely on our back and we're not curling forward. Now think about moving the rib cage. So take a breath in to get tall and then use that right side of the ribs to pull your body around to the right. And then inhale through the center and take that twist to the left. So we're trying to have the torso move here, not just move the arms around. Let's do that a couple of times. And you might have a small range of motion here, or you might have lots of movement and it feels good to take a big twist. Once more to each side. Something clicked into place there, and then relax the arm. It's also satisfying. It's like, oh yes, just what I wanted. So let's add to that. So we'll bring the arms out in front. I'm going to keep the left hand still and slide that hand along the arm, across the collarbone, and then open it out. And then a big sweeping, bring those hands together. So we'll repeat with that hand. So opening out, reaching as far behind as you can, and then sweep. and close. Let's do that once more. This time we're going to stay there. So sweep it around, and then you can stay reaching your fingers, or if that feels like a bit of work, you can let the hands relax down. Bring that right arm behind the chair or to the hip. And this time, when we breathe in, we'll bring the arms all the way up to the center. Interlace the fingers, reach the palms towards the ceiling, and take a forward fold. Inhale and lift, lifting the chin and the chest. 2 more like that. And last one, folding forward, rounding the spine. Lifting the arms, lift the chin and chest, then release the hands and bring everything down. Oh, we've got one more side to my arms. That feels like work, doesn't it? So let's bring the arms out in front again. This time we'll do the left arm. So sliding it along across the collarbone and opening out. So now we're moving the shoulders and we're moving the body as well. And closing it down. Slide it along, opening out. And then close it down. And once more. And this time we'll stay in that twist. You can keep reaching through the fingers or you can relax the hands. And trying to keep the spine nice and long. Keep breathing. And next time you breathe in, let's lift the arms overhead, interlace the fingers again. You can reach the palms to the ceiling or keep them facing down. And we'll try a little bit of a side bend. So it's a little bit harder with your arms in the air. So maybe you don't go as far. A couple of times to each side. Up and over. Let's do one more. And to the left. And then release the arms, bring everything down. And slump. Resume our normal bad posture. So let's give our arms a little break and we'll work on our hands. So let's come to our fists. So we didn't do this last week, did we? Because it was just you and Kathleen. I think we missed it. So just making movements at the wrists, so little circles. And then we'll switch directions. And then we'll stretch the fingers out wide as they'll go, and then curl them into a fist. Stretch them wide and into a fist. Twice more like that, stretching them wide and a fist, stretch them wide and into a fist. So now we'll add to that. So we'll stretch, claw, beak, and fist. Stretch and claw and beak and fist. Now we'll mix it up. Claw and stretch and beak and claw, fist, beak, claw. So that's the idea. So we will do it the way we've been doing it. Let's do sight first. So we won't speak, you'll just follow with your eyes. And I don't have to talk, so. I don't know what that one is, sorry. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I make a sort of hybrid movement. It's like we don't know what it is. So now close your eyes and just respond to the sounds. So this is better for me because it means I don't have to make the shape I'm saying. So we'll start with a stretch and a fist. Claw, fist, beak, claw, beak, fist, stretch, claw, stretch, fist, beak, claw, beak, beak, stretch, fist, claw, beak, and then give them a little shake out. So some people find it easier to listen, some people find it easier to see. I find it easier when you're listening because I said beak and my hands were actually in a different position, but you won't know that. So let's take that right hand palm facing up. I'll take 2 fingers on the opposite hand and we'll rest it on the pinky finger. So remember, we're not actually pushing down hard. We're just letting the weight of those hands do the work for us. And notice where you feel that stretch across the hand and maybe into the arm. And then we'll switch to the ring finger. And then the middle finger. Let's bring both feet to the floor. And index finger. And the thumb. And let's just give a little bit of attention to that thumb area in particular, in case it's a little stiff or sore, or any other knuckles that don't feel great today. And then we'll try the other hand, starting with the pinky finger. And the ring finger. The middle. And index. And the thumb. And then give any attention to wherever knuckles need it. And you probably notice that one hand feels different than the other. You probably overuse your dominant hand a little bit. Let's take, oh, you want to rub your hands a bit? Yeah, go ahead. So if you're at home and you've got some hand cream handy, okay, you can rub that on your hand and give yourself a little massage on those fingers. Just getting blood moving around those knuckles can really help. And then it smells nice as well, doesn't it? It's funny, I've said to you to keep your feet flat on the floor, but I just did that. Like it seems natural to kind of lift your heels and yes, we're just about to do that, yes. So we're going to give our hands and arms a little rest and focus on our feet. And then we'll come back to some arm stretches. So let's lift the toes. So really think about pulling the toes back towards the shins. And then lower down and lift the heels. Nice, tight. And we'll do that a few times, lifting the toes and then the heels. So feel that work in the calf muscles when you lift the heels and feel that stretch in the shins. And lift the toe. So we'll do that a couple of times. Lift and lift and lift and lift. And then we'll alternate. So one heel and one toe. And then switch and switch. Good. And then we'll come down and we'll just get our knees working a little bit. So lifting one leg and then the other. Getting the kinks out, the cricks and the clicks. And then as those knees are feeling okay, you can really think of reaching forward with that heel and lengthening the back of the leg. So lift and reach through the heel. Lift and reach, really pulling those toes back as far as you can. Trying to flex that ankle. And next time your right leg's up, we'll keep it there and we'll point and flex. And then keeping the leg still, make some circles at the ankle. Okay, so it's spring, so let's think, and then switch directions. Okay, So we're going to imagine we've got ink on our big toe and we're going to write daffodil with our big toe. F's are strange, aren't they? Daffodil. Just to make some random movements. And then bring it down. Give it a little bit of shake out. So that's daff. Okay. Then we'll do the left leg. Point and flex. And then we'll make some circles. So I've got really boring socks on today, but they do have bees on. So maybe we'll do bumblebee and switch directions. Ooh. And then with this foot, we're going to spell out bumblebee. So again, trying to keep the leg still and just get that movement. Ooh. From the ankle. Or some approximation of bumblebee, and then bring it down, give it a little shake out. Yep. Let's do some work on our legs. So let's just start by bringing the hands to the thighs and lifting that leg a little bit and feel that work in those quads and lift and lift and lift. So it doesn't have to be a very high lift to get that muscle working. Now I want you to think about the back of the body, using your glute and the back of the leg to try and lift that leg. So engage your glute and then lift. Squeeze and lift, and squeeze and lift. Just a little bit. Just to get those muscles working. And then relax. Now we're going to do our stepping in and out. Okay, so we'll build up to it. So if you're at home and you haven't done this before, or you find it strenuous, there's different levels you can do. So we'll start by just sliding that right foot out, like we're polishing the floor, and then sliding it in. So in and out. So that's the start. And then if you feel you can lift it a little bit, you can lift it like you're stepping over a piece of Lego, opening that leg out to the side and then closing it in. Little lift and in. And then if you're feeling that you can do it, you could lift up and over. So imagine there's a block or something on the floor. So we usually get to about 4 of these and then starts feeling like some work, doesn't it? So once we feel it's like some work, we're going to do a couple more because we actually want it to be work. Up. Get some strength in those legs. So I think that's 6. Let's do 2 more. Good. And then bring it down and just relax. Notice the difference in this leg and the other one. So let's slide the left leg out and then bring it in. So normally I wear stretchy pants. It's a little weird to be in jeans today. And then we'll just do our little lift up and over the Lego. Just a couple of times. And if that feels like a challenge, then stick with that. If you want to add more, you're going to lift up and out and up and in. But we're trying to not use the whole of our body to make that movement. We're trying to not do that, just isolate those hip flexors. And we'll do 2 more. And then bring it in. Ooh, let's bring our feet wide. Let's take the hands kind of to the inside of the knee. Drop that right shoulder in. And as you do that, push the thigh a little bit away. So stretching all down that side. And then come through the center and switch. Pushing away the other side. We'll do that a couple of times. Dropping the shoulder. So it's a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a lengthen. And then up and over. And we'll come back to the center. We'll reach the arms wide. Wrap them around. Let's bring the right arm on top. And come forward and then around. So making circles with your spine. So this could be a really small circle, or you can bring your whole body into this. Your choice. And then next time you're back up to the center, we'll open the arms wide and then switch with the other arm on top and go the opposite way. And then we'll meet up in the center, release the arms wide again, bring them down. Let's walk the feet in together. Take a sip of water if you haven't already. And then let's do a little bit of sun salutations. We're sitting up nice and tall, so back to that beginning posture where we're nice and long, chest is wide, ribs are in, and relax the arms, and we'll inhale and lift. Exhale and fold forward. So your fold might be really small, or you might be reaching the floor, whatever feels good today. Lengthen the spine with that flat back, drawing the shoulder blades onto the back, and then fold. Inhale, lift, reaching the arms up. And exhale, lower the arms. Take one extra breath here, in and out. Let's do that again. Inhale to lift, and exhale to fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, lengthening the spine, and fold. Inhale, lift, reach the arms all the way up. This time we'll bring them down through the center. Let's move our wrists around a little bit. So pointing the fingers to the front, and then to the floor. Oh, we haven't done this for a while, I can tell. And bring them up to the front, and then turning them towards the chest. Some tight wrists here, pointing them down. I can't get mine pointing down very easily. And then pointing them in. Do that once more. And we'll pause here. So let's just reposition our bodies here. So we've probably hunched over a little bit. So let's get the chest nice and wide again and relax the shoulders. Then as we inhale, we'll sweep the arms up. Exhale, come to our cactus. Keep that spine nice and long and hinge forward. And then fold. We'll lift halfway. And fold. Inhale, lift and reach the arms all the way up. And come back to our cactus. Let's take some side bends over to the right. Inhale through the center and then exhale to the left. Let's do one more to each side. Keep breathing. Back to the center. Let's release the hands to the thighs. Lift the chin and chest. Draw the elbows back so you're cobra. And then tuck everything under, finding that child's pose, rounding the spine. We'll do that once more. Inhale, lift the chin, the chest, draw the elbows back, draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale, come forward to that resting pose. Take a couple of breaths here. Relax the shoulders. We'll do one more version of that. So we'll slowly lengthen. Bring the hands to heart center. Take a breath in and out. Inhale to lift. Yes, we just want to take our feet off the floor. Can't help it. Oh, and to cactus. Inhaling forward and fold. Lifting halfway. Nice long spine. And fold. Inhale, lift and reach the arms up. Exhale to your cactus. And with this time we're going to twist. So twisting to the right. Inhale through the center. Use that exhale to twist to the left. Now this time when you take that twist, I want you to think about using your shoulder blade to help pull you around. So use the muscles in your back. Inhale through the center. Exhale, use the back muscles to pull you around. Let's do that once more to each side so we all get a chance to use our back muscles. Ooh. And then to the left. Good. Come back to the center. Let's lower the arms. We'll take that cobra again. So lift the chin, lift the chest. Draw the elbows back. Then tuck everything under, round the opposite way. Reach the arms out in front. And then one more time, lower the hands, lift the chin and chest. Let's reach the arms behind. Let's have the palms facing down like an airplane. And then draw the shoulder blades together. Actually, let's turn the thumbs up. Keep breathing here. So the shoulder blades are drawing together, the ribs are forward, and then curl everything in the opposite way, rounding the spine, and come to that resting pose. Hands on the knees or forearms to the thighs, and take a few breaths out. Let's give our legs a little stretch. So we'll come back up to your seated position, and we'll turn, holding onto the chair, turn around to the right. So make sure you're holding onto the back of the chair with your right hand. Let's have that left knee drop towards the floor. So depending on how your hips are feeling and how steady you feel, the knee might point to the floor. You might be going further back. You can have the top of your foot on the floor, or you can have the toes tucked under if you want to stretch the bottom of your foot. So your choice what you want to do. So if your arms are really tired, keep it down. If you still have some strength left in your arms, we'll reach the left arm and then take a side bend towards the chair. Inhale up to get tall, and then back to that side bend. And then once more, reaching up, get nice and tall, and then up and over, stretching all the way from that left fingertip down through the hip to the knee. And then come back to the center, bring everything down, bring that left foot in, and then we'll slide it out to the middle of the room. So we're still facing to the side, and the heels on the floor, but the toes are reaching back. So keeping the spine nice and long, we're going to tuck that left side of the hip under and take a side lean, so you're hinging here, into your triangle. So your gaze can be wherever you feel comfortable. I like to look down towards my foot. Keep breathing. And then slowly lengthen. Bend that knee, bring the leg in, and let it move around a little bit. And then we'll slowly come around to the other side. So keeping hold of your chair, turning around to the left. Left arm's on the chair. That right knee is going to point towards the floor if it will go that far. So same idea here. If your arms are tired, you can do this with your arm down, or you can lift it up towards the ceiling. And then we'll take a side bend towards the chair. So over to your left. And then inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, side bend towards the chair. Inhale to lift. We'll do one more. Up and over towards the chair. Inhale, lengthen, bring the arm down, bring that leg in, and then slide it out to the side. Ooh. Spine is nice and long as you hinge towards that extended leg. Toes reach back towards the shins. And then we'll slowly lengthen, bring that leg in, let it move around a little bit. And then we'll come back around to the center. And let's return to some arm stretches. Let's take the right hand out like a stop sign and then turn it down. And then we're going to stretch either the fingers or the palm back towards you, but keeping the shoulder relaxed and away from the ear. And let's release that arm, let it move around a little bit. And we'll try the left hand out, turn it down, stretching it back. Well, it's so different on one arm to the other. And let's relax that and give it a little shake out. Stretch the back of our shoulders. So we'll start with one stretch, then we'll move on to our eagle arms if that's available to us. We'll take that right arm, sweep it across the body, and then catch it with the other arm and hug it in. You can turn your head to the right. And then relax that arm, let it move around. And then we'll try the left one. Sweep it over, catch hold of it. So it feels okay in that direction. Just lifting it, okay. Looking over the left shoulder. And then we'll release it. So I always feel that stretch is a really good one to do twice. So the option is to do it twice. So bring that arm out, you can catch it, or you can do elbow to elbow and either give yourself a hug or bring the hands up and take hold. It's a really intense stretch for me. Whew. Good. Yeah, so you can have the back of your hands together, you can have one arm bent, or maybe I can just catch that thumb. Whew. Yes, don't overdo it. And maybe you can fold forward if your arms are in this position, or if you're giving yourself a hug, just take a gentle forward fold. And then we'll slowly come up through the center. Open those arms wide and bring them back down. Whew. Now we have to do the other arm. So again, you can sweep it across, come back to our original stretch, or you can give yourself a hug, or maybe try what eagle arms feel like on this side. Usually one side is more accessible than the other. It doesn't mean you want to stay there. Take a few breaths, nice and slowly. Maybe folding forward, keeping your arms here or wrapping them around you. And then slowly release, let them lift up. Make some big circles with those arms, bringing one arm in front of the other and then switching, opening it around. Ooh. Feel some stretching there. Yeah, just don't overdo it. So let's scoot forward a little bit on your chair and we'll just have to get that little click out of my knee. Bring the right foot, yes, just like that. The right foot comes forward. You're too young to know about clicks in the knees yet. Heels on the floor and the toes are pulling back. So you might already feel a stretch in the back of your leg there. So you can just stay here. If not, you can bring the hands to the opposite thigh and hinge forward. And as you're in this position, think about those back ribs again and breathing into the back of your body, letting those ribs expand. And we'll slowly lengthen. Bring that leg in, let it move around a little bit, and then we'll switch to the other side. So sliding the left foot out, heels on the floor, toes are reaching back. So we'll try and have the toes and knees pointing to the ceiling and not externally rotated here. So again, you may already feel a stretch, so you can just stay here. Maybe you come forward an inch or two, or maybe you have a lot of mobility and you can come further forward. And let's slowly lengthen. Bring the leg in, give it a little bit of movement. And scoot back on your chair again. So we'll come to our seated pigeon or figure of four stretch. So if you're at home and you don't have this mobility in your hips, you can bring your foot to the floor or bring your foot onto a block or a book or something, or you might be able to bring it over the thigh. So we've been working on this for several weeks now. So we're going to not have our hands on the leg to start with, unless you're holding it in place, and try and push your knee towards the floor, but not by pushing you with your hand, by using these outer hip muscles to rotate it down and down a couple of times. So the leg might not really move. We're just trying to get these muscles to work. I'm really feeling it on my inner thigh today. Oh, just a little bit of work. Squeeze and squeeze, and then keep it relaxed. And now we can hinge forward. Let that outer hip stretch a little bit and relax. And then slowly lengthen the spine. Let's keep that leg across, so you can either cross it at the knee or at the ankle. We'll bring the left hand to the thigh, push it down, reach the right arm out. We'll take a big sweep of the arm around into that twist. Let's keep reaching through that arm. And we'll bring everything back to the center. Take a little twist the other way. Back through the center, unwind that leg. You can move that around a little bit in case you've got any tension there. And then we'll try the other leg. So again, options are on the floor, on something lower, on something higher, or up over the thigh. But we have to do a little bit of work first, which is to try and rotate that leg down and then release it. And you might find you've got a lot more strength in one hip than the other. I know a lot of people who come here have a new hip and an original hip. Is that your original one? Yes. And then we'll let that relax and bring the chest forward. And you might notice a difference on one side to the other. And we'll begin to lengthen the spine. We'll cross those knees or the ankles, whatever you're comfortable with. This time the right hand will come down and the left arm will sweep around into that twist. So nice and wide across the collarbone, reaching through the fingertips. And we'll slowly come back through the center. We'll take a little twist the other way. And bring everything back to the center. Unwind that leg, move it around a little bit. And find a comfortable way to sit. Let's just move the shoulders a little bit. Working our way down the body. If there's any movement you think you need to take before you sit in your relaxation, you could do it now. Maybe your neck got stiff with all that movement. Do you want to have the other chair since we've got extra chairs? No. So let's bring the feet to the floor. We still want that long spine. So we're trying to avoid that collapsing into the lower back and tucking the tail under. So try to keep long, but we can relax against the chair. And let the head drop. You can close your eyes. Maybe draw the elbows back a little bit so the arms are heavy. And just take a moment to come back to that breathing, noticing the movement as you breathe in and out. And gradually relaxing the body through the forehead, the jaw, the back of the neck, through the upper back between your shoulder blades, down towards your waist, through your throat, and your chest, and the belly soft, the shoulders are relaxed, the upper arms, the elbows, and the lower arms are relaxed. Your hands are heavy. Feel the weight of your hands. Notice where the chair touches your lower back and the back of your thighs. Feel the warmth of your hands on your thighs. Letting your legs be heavy. Your knees and your lower legs are relaxed. Down through the ankles to the soles of your feet. And let your feet get heavier on the floor. With each exhale, relax a little more. And let yourself get a little heavier. And then just focus on your breathing. That smooth inhale and exhale. The movement of your body. Keeping everything soft. And then begin to deepen your breathing a little bit. Just increase the length of the inhale a tiny bit and then match that exhale just a little bit longer. Breathing in and out. And we'll introduce some small movements, starting with the fingers and toes. Moving at the wrists and the ankles. And it might feel good to take a big full body stretch. And then sitting up nice and tall, let's bring our hands to the heart. Take a deep breath in and let it out through the mouth. Breathing as normal. And as always, we're grateful to have this beautiful space. We're grateful to have some sun. And we will be here again next week. Thank you all. Thank you at home.